In times like these, we all need a word of encouragement. From pastor and best-selling author Max Lucado comes the Max Lucado Encouraging Word podcast. With over 40 years of ministry and more than 145 million books sold in 50 languages, Max shares the greatest story ever told, the living Savior who brings hope for a lifetime. Through rich biblical insight, heartfelt storytelling, you'll be reminded that God is always near, always for you, and always in you. Listen to the Max Lucado Encouraging Word podcast, where hope meets your day. Subscribe now wherever you get your podcasts.
Well, hi, everyone, and welcome to Alzheimer'S Speaks Radio. I'm your host, Lori LeBay, and I'm so excited that you're joining us today. We are going to have a fascinating conversation, as usual, as we learn from people all around the world at all ages and stages of life. Stay tuned as we shift our dementia care from crisis to comfort.
Here we go. What you think about, you will bring about dementia change. We will.
Well, hi, everyone, and welcome to Alzheimer'S Speaks. I'm excited to have you join us today. We're going to be talking about various trials that you can participate in, and I would really appreciate it if you would be a giver of hope and like, click, and share this episode so more people can learn about it. Of course, we always encourage you to go and visit alzheimerspeaks.com as well as our sister company, dementiamap.com, for further resources. We are going to go ahead and get started with our trial and study program today and learn about how you can get involved and help the future and maybe help yourself as well in this process. So I'm just going to go ahead and have people introduce themselves. And I'm going to have Dr. Brian Denny start, if you don't mind.
Thank you so much, Lori. So my name is Brian Denny. I'm an associate professor in the Department of Psychological Sciences at Rice University. And I'm the director of the Translational Social Cognitive and Affective Neuroscience Lab at Rice. And I'm happy to be joined here on this call with my outstanding lab manager, Rachel Veldman. And we are working on a R1 grant from the National Institute on Aging, looking at emotion regulation in family caregivers of persons with dementia. And so we have a study that we're recruiting for that's looking for participants who would like to participate in a study looking at how emotion regulation skills can be learned, and in particular, different cognitive emotion regulation skills that we would be telling people about that may be helpful in their caregiving activities that would all happen via smartphone. So the entire study is smartphone-based and involves some measurement also of heart rate variability, but it's all completely remote. So there's no physical participation in Houston at all, where Rice University is located, but there's no need to be anywhere near Houston. In fact, you can be a caregiver of someone with dementia and live anywhere in the United States and can participate with us. It takes about 2 weeks to do the active period of participation in terms of the emotion regulation skills that are involved that we talk to you about and that you receive links on your smartphone about. And then there's follow-up time that proceeds after that, but that's not the kind of the active period. And so all happens over the smartphone and interaction with outstanding research assistants that I have, like Rachel, for example, and I'd be happy to answer any questions about that. But Rachel also, we can figure out how it's best to distribute kind of information about how to get in touch with us, and maybe I can when Rachel introduces herself.
Hi, my name is Rachel. I'm the lab manager of the TSCAN lab. Dr. Brian Denny is my principal investigator, and I'm coordinating the MemoCare project. And so if anyone is interested in participating, we are on the Dementia Map. Additionally, we have a flyer that could be distributed.
Well, this sounds really interesting. What are the benefits that you feel that people will get from your study, Dr. Denny?
So there are kind of different ways that we're delivering emotion regulation skills. And it may be that somebody may learn some skills that might be helpful in diminishing some of the stress or overwhelm associated with caregiving. That you may kind of learn something new based on participating in the study. So this is based on research in the emotion regulation space, and then also in thinking about the biobehavioral mechanisms that underlie emotion regulation and learning more about that specifically within a caregiving context. And so when Rachel mentioned MemoCare, MemoCare is mobile emotion regulation. That's the code name that we gave it within the lab. So this is a grant from the NIH, but we're calling it the Mobile Emotion Regulation Grant. So hopefully people might learn something more about emotion regulation in participating in the study. And of course, after the study is completed, we would provide people a debriefing where they would learn about all of the different types of emotion regulation involved in the study, as well as some additional kind of resources.
Okay, wonderful. Now, Rachel, can you kind of give us an overview of who is qualified to apply?
Yeah, so any one who is a current caregiver of someone with a physician-based diagnosis of Alzheimer's or another related dementia and who has a smartphone would qualify for our phone screening. There's an eligibility screening portion. It takes about 30 minutes over the phone, and people would know right away whether or not they're eligible to participate afterwards.
Okay. And is there, I know with some studies there's compensation. Is there any compensation involved? And can you share what that is and what the time frame of the study is as well?
Absolutely. So there's about $120 in compensation, all in Amazon gift cards. Participants would be compensated after the active period and after the follow-ups, so you wouldn't have to wait the entire 3 months to get the compensation. But it is about 6 hours total over the course of 3 months.
Okay, so that really isn't very time-consuming and easily accessible, which is nice too. Now, is that like a question and answer format, or is it, you talk into the system, or you have to, write a narrative? What are you looking for in that?
Yeah, there's multiple mediums in which we're collecting data. So we are doing questionnaires. Like Dr. Denny mentioned, there's also a heart rate variability component where we're measuring participants' heart rate for about 5 minutes at different periods. And we do that by actually physically mailing them a device that connects to their phone that they use to take their heart rate. And then additionally, there's something we like to call a picture rating task involved, where you're just looking at social images and making ratings about them.
Okay, wonderful. Anything, Dr. Denny, that you want to add to that?
Rachel did a fantastic job describing that, and I have nothing to add to that.
Okay. What I should probably ask is when the trial ends?
Yes, so we are collecting data for another year. It ends in May of 2027. So another year and 2 months.
Okay, wonderful. And then as far as contact information, if you want to know what do you have a URL to send them to or an email?
Yes, they can send us an email, caregivers.tscan@gmail.com. or give us a call at 713-348-3528.
Need a daily spark of hope and direction? Let the Daily Bible app from Salem Media be that spark. This free Android app delivers an uplifting verse each morning, plus reading plans, devotions, and trusted podcasts from leaders like Joyce Meyer and Rick Warren. Prefer to listen instead? The Daily Bible app reads verses, reading plans, and chapters aloud, handy for the headphones moment of your day. Choose from versions like ESV, NIV, KJV, and more, and bookmark favorites to revisit later. Share inspiring messages with loved ones right from the app. Feel God's presence in every notification. Search for Daily Bible app on Google Play and begin your day with hope, purpose, and peace.
Well, thank you for sharing that with us. I think that's really interesting. We're going to go on to the next study, and I'm going to go to Dr. And if I mess up your name, please correct it because I'm horrible at names. Dr. Priya, is it Nabsini?
Yeah, Priya Nambisan.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about your study?
Yes, we are doing a larger pilot study which is funded by Bader Philanthropies Incorporated, and our platform which we had developed is for older adults with multiple chronic conditions, and we have tested that with older adults. But now we are testing that with people who have dementia as well as their caregivers. And this platform is like a very large electronic diary or a journal for health related issues. It has all the symptoms that you can think of, physical, mental, social, and behavioral. And you can keep notes as well as track your health, track all these symptoms systematically. So we have a tracker probes. So it will ask basic questions, if it is constipation, how many times, how hard it was, all those questions, as well as you can add notes to it. So this is, we are hoping that people with the dementia, early stage dementia could use it like a memory book for health and keep track of all their health conditions. That will reduce the burden on their caregivers, and caregivers can use it to keep track of all their health issues. We are planning to use the data that we collect to make sure the system is improved and more suitable for dementia patients, and we plan to apply for a larger grant from NIA.
I think the journaling is so important, and I love that you're including the caregiver, and the person with dementia, because sometimes we just get so focused, and as we all know, so many caregivers can get burnt out, have health issues, and even die caring for somebody because we're so focused on the other guy. We're like oblivious to our own symptoms and needs because it's like they're the priority. So I think that's nice to have that joint combination there. I'm going to go to and again, if I screw up your name, please, I apologize. Is it Nagadeepthi?
Yeah, that's my very, very smart research assistants, Nagadeepthi and Snehita.
Okay, great. Do you want to go ahead and talk about the application process and how someone would go through that?
Yes, so it's a large computer. We have an application and it's called MyHestia, and it's in my name. We have it on the web, and people can just go onto the web, and we'll give them a login and sign up code. They can sign up and start using it. We also have a screening form for it. If they want to join, they can fill the screening form, and we'll see if they are eligible or not, and we'll contact them. And the first process is we'll have a interview with them and explain them everything, how to use it, and after they have to use it for 4 weeks, and after that they can we'll have the post-study interview.
And how long and what type of questions are on the screening process, just to give people an idea? And the reason I'm asking is this has been a really big issue for so many people with studies, is they say, I put all this time and energy, and then I find out I never should have filled out to apply to begin with. So are there some criteria that are goes and no-goes in this process?
Our flyer includes the eligibility criteria, and one of the most important criteria is that They should be over 60 years old. They should have mild dementia. If the person, both caregivers and people with dementia can apply. So for people with dementia, they should be mild dementia or mild cognitive impairment, and they should be able to use a phone or a computer device. And they also should have a few chronic conditions or symptoms that they want to track. So these are the three main four eligibility criteria that we are looking into. Over 60, mild cognitive impairment, or a caregiver who's taking care of a dementia patient should be able to use a computer or a phone. Yes.
Let me clarify on the phone, because sometimes in a study they'll want, one person to be able to use the phone, but is it both the person with dementia or mild cognitive impairment and the caregiver that use the phone?
No, one person can use it. So whoever is signing up for the study is the study participant, and that person has to use it.
Gotcha. And is there any cost to the participant for the study at all?
No, it is completely online. They can be anywhere in the country, and as long as they have a phone, they can use it. It's a web platform. It's not even an app. So it's very easy to use.
And let me throw this to your other associate here. And if you want to introduce her, because you'll say her name better than I will.
Snehita.
I'm Snehita. Yeah. We are planning to provide $200 of Amazon gift card after participating in this.
Okay. And about how long is the length of the study?
4-week study.
4 weeks. Okay.
And daily tracking doesn't take more than a few minutes. So.
Okay. And then that is just, do they have to submit it, or it's just automatically submitted once they put it into their account?
Yeah, you just have to, fill a few drop-down menus and submit. Click submit, and it will get submitted.
One question I'll go back and ask Dr. Denning too, but do you do a follow-up, once the study is published, and let your participants know what the outcome is?
For our study, this platform is free to use for participants as long as they want. So some people continue using it because it's, their data, and they can continue tracking it for as long as they want. So sometimes, we include them in other studies, and then I have called them back to do some interviews with them as to how they are using the system.
Okay. Well, the reason I asked that specific question is, again, this is something that I hear from participants as we go through this process, but then we don't hear anything about the results, or what the findings were, or how it's going to be applied in the future.
Yes, we do provide some kind of feedback regarding what we found once we have analyzed the data. We do plan to do that.
Okay, great. And Rachel, are you still with us, or did you drop off as well?
I'm here.
Okay. With your study, do you guys follow up on the conclusion of the study with participants, and what the findings were?
So our study is pre-registered to clinicaltrials.gov. And so anyone who is interested in following up with the findings, I usually just encourage them to email me, and I would provide them with a link to where they would be able to find the study that's when it becomes published. Additionally, I encourage people to email me and ask me, hey, do you guys know anything yet? And then I'd be able to give them updates on when we might have some results.
Okay, well, that's great. I would just encourage all of you to automatically do that with your participants, because it acknowledges what they did, for one thing, and it gets them talking about what they did, and most likely it will encourage others to participate in future studies. And then just knowing about your particular university and your study, it's just kind of a go-to where point for people again there. Dr. Denny, I guess I see you still are on here. I was clicking through my slides. I didn't see it in there. Was there anything else that you wanted to add?
Yes, I mean, I think that's a great point. I would just say everything that Rachel described is in addition to the debriefing that we do at the end of someone's participation, where we describe about the study in kind of a 360-degree view, putting their participation into context, giving them resources and contact information. So the kind of specific question about also sharing a published paper, we're also willing to do, as Rachel described, but as I think others have kind of alluded to, as I'm sure you may know as well, that can take years to happen based on a multi-year study continuing to be run, and then the time necessary for the data to be analyzed, and then the sometimes lengthy process of actually publishing it in a journal, which of course we all, I'm sure, intend to do. So that process, fortunately or unfortunately, takes a little bit longer. But that would be in addition to the debriefing that everybody would receive. And of course, as Rachel also mentioned, the results will actually be publicly released on clinicaltrials.gov. And we're also willing to share when
Caring for someone with dementia is one of the toughest journeys, but you don't have to do it alone. I'm Allison Schreier, and my experience caring for my husband inspired me to create Zinnia, a therapeutic streaming service designed to support people living with dementia and reduce caregiver stress. Zinnia offers research-backed videos intentionally created for people with dementia, engaging, calming, and easy to follow. Whether you need to ease agitation, create moments of joy, or make daily routines smoother, Zinnia is here to help. Family and professional caregivers use our content to turn challenges into opportunities for connection. Accessible by subscription on mobile devices and connected TVs, Zinnia is simple to use whenever you need it. Because when caregiving feels easier, life feels better. Go to zinniatv.com and sign up for a free trial today. Use the code RESOURCE for 15% off an annual Zinnia subscription.
Available publications resulting from the study.
And I would just encourage you all, when you are finished with your study and when it's ready to be publicly released, feel free to reach out to me if you want to come on Alzheimer's Speaks, and we can just do a show on your particular study as well. I think it's really important for people to get this in front of people's faces, and sometimes they don't know where to go. And I know I hear again over and over, the big government websites and stuff for studies. It's just overwhelming for them to find what's what. And so I would also encourage, if you're not on DementiaMap.com, to get on there. You can grab a free listing, or if you want more promotion, we can do that as well. But our goal is to connect people and get them conscious of what's out there. And we're not going to move forward if we don't get this information out to people. And I know sometimes I hear from different studies going, we're really struggling trying to find participants. And people, I don't think, realize how hard your job is to pull people in and get the word out. And so we want to be able to help as much as we can there. I'm going to flip back to the MyHestia program, because people are going to wonder, what does that stand for? And any one of you can take that.
Yeah, that's a very good question. It's an acronym for My Healing Ecosystem for Self-Care and Therapeutic Integration for the Aging. So, okay. It's a long name, but what it is specifically is for promoting self-care among older adults. And therapeutic integration is, when you go to a physician's office and they are throwing in things, if you want to understand everything, you need to know what is going on with your health, so that you can better understand and integrate what they provide with your health data. So that's MyHestia. And Hestia is a Greek goddess for the home and hearth. So that's why we named it MyHestia.
Okay. Anything else you want to add about your study?
Yeah, we are currently actively recruiting. It is, a 4-week study. It's a very easy to do work. But if you are interested, please go to myhestia.org. Our contact information is there. Otherwise, give my phone number is 414-251-5217. We also have a lab, where you can call 414-251-0421. So one of us will respond to it if you call that number. Otherwise, go to just type myhestia.org and you will find all the contact information. My email address and everything is there.
Oh, I should ask when you're closing?
Study is, will be open for another 8 to 9 months.
Okay. Great. Well, thank you again for participating. Donna, I'm going to go to you next.
Yes, my name is Donna Salaam, and I work for the Benjamin Rose Institute on Aging in Cleveland, Ohio. And the current study that we are working on is SHARE for African American care. So the SHARE program, SHARE stands for Support, Health, Activities, Resources, and Education. And it is a program that we are, is basically designed to help families who the person living with dementia and their care partner develop a plan of care for their family as things change. There's many uncertainties that comes along with having dementia and challenges. And so our goal is to prepare families for these challenges. And this program that was developed to help these families is an evidence-based program that has been developed maybe over 20 years ago now. And the goal, again, is to bring families together to start that communication, that discussion about care in regards to the person living with dementia and their care partner.
And for your study, is this computerized or is it phone? Is it written and mailed in? What's the process?
So our program is a virtual program. It's nationwide. So we're actually doing a nationwide recruitment for this program. And it's virtual. And so if, say, for instance, the person living with dementia live in Cleveland, Ohio, and one of their children lives in California, they can still participate. So basically the person with dementia and care partner need to have access to Wi-Fi and computer. It could be a tablet, but a computer or a tablet in order to participate. Of course, they need to be 50 and over to participate in this program, African American, and experiencing some changes in their memory loss or cognitive delays, and have a diagnosis of dementia. Now, with our program, you do not have to have a diagnosis of dementia, but if you do, we still accept those. But you have to be in the early to moderate stages to participate in this program, because what we understand is that catching those living with dementia in the early to moderate stage, this is a unique window of opportunity for us to be able to have very important conversations about needs and care. And so this is the only way that you qualify for this program.
So is yours like a Zoom meeting and you talk and answer questions?
So initially, each family will go through an assessment process, and after the assessment, the initial assessment, and then they will know if they are a fit. So why we do the assessment is because we want to see where they are. We want to make sure they're not past the early to moderate stage, because what we do know is that once you get past those stages, you're usually not able to focus or sit and have conversations virtually. So we want to be fair, because we want to hear that voice from the person living with dementia. We really want to know, how do they want to design this care plan when they're unable to meet their own needs. So it's important that they are in the early to moderate stage to participate.
And then how long does your study go for?
The study goes for up to 6 to 12 weeks. And so let me explain. There's 2 ways of entry into our program. It's a random selection. If dyads are entered through our control group, that would mean they will get a one-time resource education session up to 75 minutes with a trained counselor. If they end up in our intervention session, they will get 5 to 6 sessions with a trained counselor, and that would be over 6 to 12 weeks. And the reason why the extension of 6 to 12 weeks is sometimes we know life happens for families. So our goal is to work with families once a week. However, sometimes families are sick or things come up, and so we may have to skip a week. Ideally, we would like to go and do interventions once a week through our curriculum and get families done as soon as possible. The biggest thing to know here is that the actual program is free. So families, it won't cost them a thing to participate in. Unlike other studies, they will get a stipend for their participation in time. It's very important for us to continue to learn as much as we can about dementia and how it affects our families. So the stipend is offered to all families who participate, both in the control and the intervention group.
Okay. And are you comfortable sharing what that stipend is?
Yes. So if you're in the control group, the stipend is going to be $50. Again, they're going to do that one-time session. Mm-hmm. If you're in the intervention group, the ultimate stipend, is going to be $100. And that's going to be over the 6 to 12. And it is broken down. So they're not waiting all the way to the end for the $100. It is broken down into increments and how they get the $100.
Wonderful. And then how long does your study go for?
Our study right now will be going to the end of the summer.
Okay.
And we're looking to recruit 100 African American families in this. Currently, we have about 33. And again, we're looking to recruit from all over. You do not have to have the official diagnosis of dementia. You just have to be in the early to moderate stages so that we can begin that planning process with the family in order to kind of help them develop a network of support that they can utilize both now and in the future.
Well, that sounds wonderful. It'll be interesting to see the feedback you get from the people who just got the one 75-minute education versus the one that gets it 5 or 6 times, and how that affected them in moving their life forward.
Need a daily spark of hope and direction? Let the Daily Bible app from Salem Media be that spark. This free Android app delivers an uplifting verse each morning, plus reading plans, devotions, and trusted podcasts from leaders like Joyce Meyer and Rick Warren. Prefer to listen instead? The Daily Bible app reads verses, reading plans, and chapters aloud, handy for the headphones moment of your day. Choose from versions like ESV, NIV, KJV, and more, and bookmark favorites to revisit later. Share inspiring messages with loved ones right from the app. Feel God's presence in every notification. Search for Daily Bible app on Google Play and begin your day with hope, purpose, and peace.
With the symptoms and things that they have. Did you have some contact information that you want to give?
Yes, so I am the recruitment coordinator and I do the initial assessments for the families. My name again is Donna Salaam. My phone number is 216-373-1747. And we also have a mailbox in which you can send an email to. So share4aa@benrose.org.
Well, thank you so much. Now, when I went to the Benrose site, it looked like there were some other programs that they're investigating there as well. And I just wanted to highlight those. One was supporting evidence-based comprehensive dementia care for GUIDE, which is through CMS and beyond. And there was another one, making connections through music. That was going to end this year, but I don't know exactly. I would imagine all of the studies probably have some other studies going on at their universities as well on that. So I appreciate you sharing your information with us. I'm going to go next. We're going to learn about the RealVision program. So do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, please?
Yeah, so I'm Vedant. I'm a senior at Dartmouth College, majoring in neuroscience, and we are working on the RealVision study. So I'll start with just saying something that I think almost everyone listening to this program probably knows. It's that catching dementia early is one of the best things that we can do clinically currently for any type of dementia. And so this study aims to see if we can use smartphone-based data to actually catch dementia or flag dementia early on in the process. So are we able to use things that can be collected by a smartphone, and I'll go into what those things are, to actually flag you should go talk to a neurologist. You may have the early signs of dementia so that we can start treating you early. And so we're recruiting both cognitively healthy participants as well as people in the early stages of dementia or with mild cognitive impairment. So that is about people who are around 45 years or older, and part of the study involves being able to walk, so they need to be able to walk for at least 2 minutes. And this is a remote study, and it will have two main parts. The first part is a 30 to 45 minute survey that includes basic demographic information as well as cognitive screening. We kind of treat that as our ground truth of whether or not you are cognitively healthy or may have mild cognitive impairment. The important thing to note is that either way you would be eligible for the study because we are recruiting people from both groups. And then the next part of the study is the 30 to 45 minute use of a smartphone app that we have developed to collect 4 different behavioral tasks data. So the first task is being able to walk around for about 2 minutes, and we'll track kind of your gait. So if you are walking steadily or irregularly, and you can do that inside or outside, then we will collect data on a speech task where you talk into your microphone for about 1 minute, a 15-minute eye tracking task, and finally just a 2-minute smile task. And then after that, we have about a 5 to 10 minute feedback portion. And that would be the entire study. We compensate participants for what ends up being about an hour and a half. We compensate participants with a $30 Amazon gift card. And I know that there was a huge mention of results being sent to participants. Our lab has a very huge focus on participant partnership and patient-centered research, so we commit that to every single participant. That, as a huge credit to what they did, that this research wouldn't be possible without them, that we send results to every single participant, both including an individualized sheet of their individual results, as well as aggregated findings in an easy-to-understand manner.
I love that. I think this sounds really interesting. The touch points that you're looking at from, the smile was kind of a surprise when you said that one. But the eye contact, the speech, the gait, and the shortness of what they have to do, and that it's for people kind of with the early signs of dementia, as well as people who aren't diagnosed and aren't having any symptoms. Now, how long does your study go again? I don't know if I missed that or not.
No, so our study goes until about mid-June.
Okay.
And so that includes people finishing the entirety of that hour and a half study by mid-June.
Okay, wonderful. And how do they participate? How do they go sign up?
Yeah, so there's a couple of ways. They all take you to the same thing. So they can email me at f006j5m@dartmouth.edu. So dartmouth.edu. Or they can Google RealVision Study Dartmouth, and you will find a link over there that takes you to our website, and you can click sign up on the website and fill out a short form with your name and email, and I'll get back to you.
Wonderful. Fantastic. Anybody that I missed? I think I've covered everybody here. We have a lot of different participants.
Lori, we didn't say which university we were from. We would like to add that we are from the University of Wisconsin, Milwaukee.
Okay.
I'm an associate professor there, and my RAs, my very smart RAs, are also from the same university. They are doing masters in our college.
Need a daily spark of hope and direction? Let the Daily Bible app from Salem Media be that spark. This free Android app delivers an uplifting verse each morning, plus reading plans, devotions, and trusted podcasts from leaders like Joyce Meyer and Rick Warren. Prefer to listen instead? The Daily Bible app reads verses, reading plans, and chapters aloud, handy for the headphones moment of your day. Choose from versions like ESV, NIV, KJV, and more, and bookmark favorites to revisit later. Share inspiring messages with loved ones right from the app. Feel God's presence in every notification. Search for Daily Bible app on Google Play and begin your day with hope, purpose, and peace.
Fantastic. And I believe you guys have some other studies going on there too.
Yes.
I don't have a list of those, though. I thought that I did, but I don't. I've got some other ones. But again, I would just encourage people to really, check check these out. Spread the word. Some of them have some tight time frames. They're not going to be open a whole lot longer, but it's critical that they get people to participate, because all of the knowledge that they're gathering is going to benefit all of us. If we want to admit it or not, we're going to be touched by dementia, if not personally, by a friend or colleague or neighbor. That's just the way it's going out there. And so the more information we can get, the earlier we can figure out detections for this, the better off we're all going to be. Because, as you know, a lot of people don't like going to the doctor and talking about this stuff because they're afraid of getting a formal diagnosis too. And we've got to ease that burden, because we've got to get people into the clinics and feel comfortable that there's resources out there to help them. And so you guys are at the very front end of that. So I'm kind of on the other side of that. And there's so much in between. And so I really appreciate everybody's time here today. Raise your hand if you have any final comments that you would like to say. That's probably be the easiest way for me to be able to see. Donna?
Yes, you just mentioned something really important about getting a formal diagnosis and just talking about it. With the SHARE program, that is our goal. Our goal is going to be to engage, educate, and empower families. We want to make a change here. We want people to know that it's okay to talk about dementia and the challenges that come with it. But we also want them to be prepared as to with resources and things to do with it. So again, our program is going to be absolutely free, and it offered to those 50 and over African American with those diagnoses or changes in memory. So please reach out. We can work with you from wherever you are in order to help you and your family develop a plan of care and what you can use as the uncertainties arise with your dementia.
Our program is also, our aim is to empower older adults to keep track of health issues, so that you don't, when you go to the doctor's office or when you talk about things, you would come out knowledgeable and you don't have to depend on others' memory on things. And so this is basically a way to empower older adults, especially when the new diagnosis of dementia comes in. Start keeping notes. Keeping notes is very, very important. And so this platform is completely free for anyone to use, and they can use it for free as long as they want. So, and please reach out to us. We will provide hands-on help in doing everything. You can call any one of us at any time, and we will provide all the support. And Lori, I want to thank you specifically. This is a wonderful program. And what you're promoting is, very, very good for the benefit of all dementia patients.
Well, thank you. And I love that your study allows people to continue, using the system. I think that's wonderful.
Our study's aim is really to facilitate that early diagnosis, that hopefully people with dementia one day can be diagnosed very early, and that we can slow it and we can stop it really early on. So if that is something that people are interested in, please do reach out. We are, actively recruiting. We've gotten some good amount of interest, but the more people that we get, the better we can make these kinds of models, and the more effective and the more accurate we can make these models for early dementia prediction on literally just a smartphone, which would be great.
Exactly. Well, thank you all so much for being with us today. Again, to our listeners, I wish you would join us in being a giver of hope. Like, click, and share. It takes really little time, costs you no money, but it can have a big, big impact on so many people's lives, to get them connected to these studies, to give them hope, to let them feel like there's something that they can do. I hear that all the time from people living with dementia and caregivers. I wish I could do something. Well, there is something you can do. You can participate in a study and help the research along to help us all live better lives. And again, don't forget to check out our resources. We have lots of free educational resources at Alzheimer'S Speaks. Just go to that tab, as well as Dementia Map, our global resource directory. Thanks, everybody. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Caring for someone with dementia is one of the toughest journeys, but you don't have to do it alone. I'm Allison Schreier, And my experience caring for my husband inspired me to create Zinnia, a therapeutic streaming service designed to support people living with dementia and reduce caregiver stress. Zinnia offers research-backed videos intentionally created for people with dementia, engaging, calming, and easy to follow. Whether you need to ease agitation, create moments of joy, or make daily routines smoother, Zinnia is here to help. Family and professional caregivers use our content to turn challenges into opportunities for connection. Accessible by subscription on mobile devices and connected TVs, Zinnia is simple to use whenever you need it. Because when caregiving feels easier, life feels better. Go to zinniatv.com and sign up for a free trial today. Use the code RESOURCE for 15% off an annual Zinnia subscription.